locally. And possibly upload ko siya sa YouTube ko para you guys can later on pwede nyo mabalikan, i-review yung ating lecture. Okay, so I'll just open my slides here. So ang topic natin is about mutual funds. Okay, in terms of sa Sun Life, we call those funds prosperity funds. Okay. If you know also Sun Life, sige, does anyone here hindi pa kilala yung brand ni Sun Life? Meron ba, guys? Can I see a show of thumbs up siguro? Kung lahat kilala naman si Sun Life. Okay. Sino yung unang? So si Angel din. So very active si Angel. Si Angel naman kilala sa Sun Life. Teka. I-admit pa ibang tao. Okay. So wala na yung may kilala kay Sun Life. Good kay Angel. Okay. So sa Sun Life, meron naman din dito na presentation slide for that. And yeah, please listen to the webinar because I won't be handing any lecture materials because these are proprietary din kay Sun Life. These are not my slides. And yung mga materials ko is medyo tagpi-tagpi lang din ng every different materials. Okay. So yeah. So si Sun Life, we are a global company. In fact, we are located in these countries. Ang pinakamatagal would be our country of origin, which is Sun Life of Canada. Okay, so yung Philippines na Sun Life is Sun Life of Canada Philippines Incorporated. At almost kasabay tayo ng establishment ng Sun Life sa US. Okay, kasi 1895. So if you work back to your history, guys and girls, even buhay pa si Rizal, nandito na ang Sun Life sa Pilipinas. And currently, 2022, we are at our 127th year. And makita mo lang sa Canada, we are, of course, the leader there. And then, what we offer, iba-iba siya per country. So sa Canada, we are mga group retirement. Let's say, pag nagtatrabaho na rin kayo, look for a company wherein you can avail a provident plan. So that's if parang bonus money yun. So part of your salary is being deducted and being invested in mutual funds themselves. Diba? Probably, kung sa Sun Life na kayo invest yung company ninyo, let's say, a minimum of 1,000, maximum 10,000, sabihin natin ganun. Per month, kinakaltas. Then, si company, tinatapatan niya yun, minamatch niya yung contributions niya. So, una sa lahat, nakatipid na kayo, tapos may doble pa yung pera nyo. So, later on nyo nga na magagamit yun. Kasi, ang purpose kasi nun, hindi siya wini-withdraw right away. It's for your retirement. Okay. So, next one. Sa Asia, kami lang merong presence sa India. Okay. And then, yung mutual funds legs namin is top 5 din sa Asia. Okay. And then sa Philippines, of course, we are number 1 for 11 years now and counting. Tapos sa Indonesia, we also have bank assurance. So if you're not yet familiar with sa bank assurance, there are companies that are partners of banks that offers also insurance like BDO Life, si BPI, di ba may BPI AI Asia, PhilAm. So si Security Bank, they partnered with FWD. Yan. More of that sa susunod na lang. Then sa US, of course, we are a big player din sa US because in fact, yung mutual funds natin sa Pilipinas are also engaged and exposed doon sa US markets. Okay, so yan. And sa UK, we even offer pension plans. kasi siguro maganda yung market sa UK and people are really participating. Dito kasi sa Pilipinas, kung di nyo may tatanong, medyo tabu pa ang topic ng insurance. Although, yung pandemic medyo, ano naman, medyo minulat na mata ng mga Pinoy para consider ang insurance. So sige, in the Philippines, we are listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. So we are a public company. Ang pinakasangay namin is Sun Life of Canada Philippines nga, which has 4 subsidiaries. Number 1 of which is Sun Life Asset Management. At kung nakikita niyo yung signature natin dito sa baba, yan yung investment arm ni Sun Life. Yung that handles the mutual funds of Sun Life. And then for Sun Life plans, those are pre-need. So wala nang new business dyan, I think. More on servicing na lang ng mga existing clients. And if you also heard Sun Life Grepa, it's a company that was absorbed by Sun Life. Pero most of which, ang products nila is mga insurance. So I think, hindi ko lang sure kung may new business pa sa Sun Life Grepa. Kasi license ko is confined within Sun Life of Canada Philippines. And of course, corporate social responsibility. So once you have also a work na, most of the big companies here in the Philippines are also yung mga may mga charity event every now and then. So part of yun. So bakit palalayo si Sun Life? They established their own foundation. So sila yung tumutulong, ano ba, mga nabagyo ng Yolanda, we donated boats, etc. So okay. And our track record, so among dito sa we will focus only on SLAMC. So SLAMC stands for Sun Life Asset Management Company Inc. Okay, which caters yung mutual funds. We are the largest non-bank na asset management company. Okay. Kasi usually, pag sinabi investing na kalimitan, we go to the banks, ganyan. Pero sa Sun Life, we are not a bank. We are a insurance company with an investment arm. And currently, our total assets under management is tantamounting to 174 billion pesos lang naman. Ayan. So, as of July 22. So, ayan. And counting. Kasi, syempre, every day, we have new clients naman. And hopefully, isa sa mga agenda ko rin is after this seminar, kung may natatago naman kayong ipon, then why not invest natin yan as early as well. Okay. After all, kayo naman may kinabang yan. Okay. So we have over 170,000 investors. And yeah, medyo rare Pokemon po ang mga mutual funds advisors. Because let's say, dun sa insurance agents ni Sun Life, we are about 22,000 and less than 10% of which are licensed mutual fund advisors. Okay, so bukod sa license ako magbenta ng insurance, I'm also licensed to offer mutual funds. Okay, so in a way, mga differentiator namin yan amongst other advisors. So pagka sinabi MF advisor ang isang advisor, matalino yan. Okay, so yan. And so may mga nag-admit, may mga pupunta pa meeting room, no? Okay, so excuse me. Yeah, so since ang topic natin ay mutual funds, ano nga ba ang mutual funds, guys? So, can I ask someone to read? How about si Miss Mylene C? And early bird sana siya, kaya lang puputo siya. Can I ask you to unmute, Miss Mylene? Hello? Okay. Baka hanggang ngayon, pangit pa rin ang internet niya. So ito, nakita ko kanina, yung video. Kindly unmute po, Miss Leia. How about you? What is your idea patungkol sa mutual funds? Ano nga ba ang mutual funds, Miss Leia?
Hello po, rinig po.
Yes po.
Mutual fund is where money from different shareholders are pooled and invested by an investment company into a diversified portfolio of securities.
Okay, so in your own words, ano ba ang mutual funds, Leia?
Para sa akin po, yung mutual fund, Yun yung po pag nag-i-invest ka in company po. Tapos parang monthly mo, parang meron pong broker na
Mm.
parang siya yung magko-connect yung sa pag-invest mo po sa company, yung may broker po.
Mm. Okay. So correction. So thank you very much, Leia. No? Correction lang. Si mutual funds, you don't need a broker. Kasi si Sun Life or yung SLAMC mismo, kami na mismo yung investment manager. So you open an account with us. And technically, we're not brokers because those funds that we've pulled, kasi diba dito, lahat ng at least lahat ng investors, sa Tagalog, bumabakas, diba? So, may pera yung client na to, may pera din yung client number two. So, not necessarily equal. And then si Sun Life, si SLAMC, ini-invest niya sa stock market directly. Okay? So, ayun. So, you don't need, you guys, if you decided to also open a mutual funds account with Sun Life, wala kayong kailangan broker. Okay? So, para lang kayo nag-open ng bank account. So, mamaya malaman natin magkano ba. Minimum. So, if kung namumuo sa utak niyo na question is, kaya ko ba mag-open ng mutual funds even while I'm a student? So, let's answer that later. Okay, so yan. Essentially, yung may kailangan ng broker are direct investors. So, let's say, have you heard Call Financial, ganyan, First Metrosec, yung mga Angping Securities, yung gano'n. Yung mga direct ang brokers, whether traditional ones or online brokers. So, for example, COL Financial stands for Citysec Online Financial. So, they are the leading online broker for stock market. Tapos, yun, maraming clients si Call. And lahat ng clients sila, either buy directly the stocks mismo of different companies, or they can also buy mutual funds sa may platform na si Call for grocery na mutual funds. And then, where's the money invested? Iba-iba nga tayo ng purchasing power. Pero ano naman dyan, ang concept lang ng how much you invest is may minimum subscription lang po ang mga mutual funds. Okay? And medyo may kinababagayan lang din sa risk appetite ng investor kung ano yung aakmang funds para sa inyo. For example, bond fund. I think bilang mga financial management students, can I survey lang? Do you guys discuss these kinds of topics sa school? Sige, anyone can unmute.
Yung bond fund po, sir.
Alam niyo yan. So yung mga equity, alam niyo rin yan, sir?
Yung types lang po.
Okay. Pero general idea you have, right? So sige, si Medina Angela, I think yung nagsalita. Sige, sir, unmute ka ulit.
Yes po, sir.
Ayan. So si bond fund, ano idea mo sa isang bond fund?
Yung bond fund, sir, yung pagkakaalala ko po, wala po siyang maturity date, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Tsaka kailangan mong ibenta yung unit para makuha mo yung initial investment mo, sir. And
Okay.
nakadepende sa market value yung unit kapag binenta mo po.
Okay. So, okay. Somehow aligned naman tayo ng answer. How about equity fund, sir? Do you have any idea? Ano ang isang equity fund? Ikaw pa rin, Mr. Medina Angelo.
Yan po, sir. Di na po ako familiar dyan, sir.
Okay, sige. O sige, ang keyword kapag bond funds, students, this is a debt instrument, meaning to say, utang, di ba? So, as investors, ikaw yung nagpapautang either sa corporation, o kaya sa gobyerno. So, let's say sa gobyerno, they use it to construct roads, bridges, yan. So, kapalit ng fixed interest rate at the end of the maturity. So, si bond fund, yung mga retail bonds mismo, those are the ones who has maturity. Pero pag bond fund kasi, di ba, para na rin nakapackage na yan na iba't ibang retail bonds ang binibili. So, tama si Mr. Antilon na wala siyang maturity. Kasi halos lahat ng funds namin sa Sun Life are open-ended. Meaning to say, You can buy and exit any point in time. Of course, there are some restrictions like may holding period kami, so more of that later. Kapag sinabi namang equity, students, is ito ay synonymous sa isang stock fund. Okay? So let's say an index fund. Who among you has heard, let's say, an index fund? Can I call on, let's say, Ann Cristel Veloso? Mukhang hindi tayo sinasagot. Sige. How about Ella Romualdo? Medyo putol lang. Hindi ko basa na. Sige. How about, ayan. Miss Michaela, ayan. Sige.
Yes, sir. Ano po yun, sir?
Ano yung tanong ko? Have you heard about index funds?
Index fund. Index funds? Okay po. Pero kasi di ko po siya maalala masyado.
Sige, can you call on a friend? Ikaw mismo tumawag dito sa Zoom room. Sino ba best friend mo rito? Tawagin mo naman.
Ano ako volunteer dyan?
Ikaw mag-volunteer dali.
Sino po? Nakasagot na eh. Wait lang po.
Okay ba? Kung nasagot na siya.
Dito po ba si Kuya Ryan?
Sige.
Kuya Ryan?
Ryan. Dalawa yung Ryan dito. Guevara or si Yamongan.
Yawangan po.
Ayan. So, Mr. Ryan Bert.
Yeah.
Yamongan. Ayan. Kindly unmute yourself. Kailangan niya ang tulong mo. Ano ang pangalan?
Hello po.
Kaya sige sir, what is a index fund sa iyong own words?
Ano siya, sir? Para sa akin siya siyang parang mutual fund na na nakapaloob po sa isang portfolio. Parang ganun po.
At ano yung underlying portfolio niya?
Basta alam ko, sir, basta connected siya sa stock market eh. Parang ganun po.
Okay. So, specifically index, diba? Ano ba ang index sa Pilipinas? Have you heard about Philippine Stock Exchange Index? Brian?
Yes, sir.
Ayan. So, sino ba mahilig mag-basketball dito? Diba ang ating index is composed of only the top 30 companies in the Philippines. Okay, meaning to say, companies do come and go. For example, ang pinakabatang player sa Philippine Stock Exchange Index are kunyari Converge, Wilcon, as well as ASEN. So ASEN, yung Ayala Corporation ng Energy Sector. Yung nakita Ryan. Ayan, so there. So, yeah. So bilang investor, kumbaga kumukuha ka ng middleman na mag-iisip saan mag-i-invest maganda. Okay? Kasi let's say ang normal na Pinoy, let's say may trabaho naman tapos wala siyang time mag-aral about stocks or hindi niya type mag-aral ng stocks. So, iba-iba naman ang tao. So, yeah. Ang swerte ninyo bilang estudyante kasi 'di ba ang 3 phases of life, 'di ba? Have you heard about time, money, and energy? Diba? So let's say pagkabataan, we all have the time, may apat pala yun, diba? Knowledge, energy, and money. So you have the time kasi hindi naman kayo, all the full-time na students, you have rest on weekends. So imbis na maglaro kayo, ang advice ko sa inyo, biglang kuya ninyo, work on your knowledge kasi lalo kung financial management students kayo, right? If you want to pursue a career in finances, use your free time to, let's say, consume nila yung content sa YouTube. YouTuber dyan. na may useful content, di ba, about finances. Ako, personally, I follow, let's say, Rex Mendoza. Ayan, bossing ng lahat yan. Ayan. And then, in terms of knowledge, syempre, you're still starting out. So, medyo lamang yung mga adults sa inyo. Sa energy, lamang naman kayo. Kasi yung mga adults pagod na magtrabaho. So, kailan ba kayo graduate, guys? Yeah. Kahit chatbox lang. Ilang sems kayo to go? 2 sems. So, kaya nag-OJT na kayo ngayon. Kasi you're on your graduation year na, graduating year. So, yan. If ever sa future, you also want to try Sun Life, diba? Then, at least nakakausap na kayo ng isang financial advisor and unit manager. Yan. So, sige, let's move on. Sa mutual funds, guys, yun nga, ang tawag sa mga naglalagak ng pera are called, yun pala, ang lagak is Tagalog ng invest. So, yun. So, kahit, diba, usually, if an English word doesn't have a Filipino counterpart, most likely we don't do that. Or, kung derive lang kanya, fight or fighter. Diba? Parang ganun na yung kanyari, organism, diba? Organismo. Parang ganun. So, wala tayong proper word for organism. So, kung ang invest ay may Filipino word counterpart, which is lagak. Ibig sabihin, I should be proud as Filipino that we are capable of investing way before we were conquered by other countries. Diba? So, ayan. So, as investor, you buy shares from the mutual funds company. You buy units kasi nga si Sun Life na siya na mismo nagpipili anong company ang magandang bilhin. Tapos, naka-jumble na siya. Naka-package siya. Okay. And then, in terms of what funds can you choose? You can choose bonds or stocks by nature or a combination of both. They are called balance funds. Okay. And then, ang aming custodian banks are the following, HSBC and Citibank. Okay. So, bakit siya international banks? Because we also do have mga funds overseas. And ang governing bodies namin sa Pilipinas are the Securities and Exchange Commission. Pretty much the same, the governing body for the companies listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange. Okay. So si Sun Life, si SLAMC, kami na yung nagmamanage mismo ng funds ng clients as well as distribution agent. Kami na yung parang pinaka-broker nyo, di ba? Nakalimutan ko siya nagsabi kanina. As well as if you switch funds, we are also the transfer agent. Okay, so next slide. Ayan, tanong ng marami. Ito, you can take a screenshot of this. Paano nga ba tayo kumikita sa ating stock market, sa mutual funds? Diba? So, much like the stock market, you always buy a share from a buying price. And then you wait for that share amount. Yung price niya is tumaas. Diba? So, for example, an initial investment of 1 million. Tapos ang price niya per share way back then is 2 pesos per share. So, we simply divide, ang quotient yan would be the number of shares you have bought. Okay? And then, after some time, syempre, tumataas at bumababa po ang presyo ng isang share ng unit na isang mutual fund. So, let's say, binenta mo siya sa mataas, doon kakikita. Okay? So, constant itong 500,000 units mo, not unless you injected new fresh funds. Okay? So, let's say, dati mo binili, tapos never ka na nag-reinvest. So, let's say, 2 pesos mo siya nabili, then binenta mo siya at 2.5. So, yung margin mo, half a cent, half a peso per share. So, multiply mo siya sa 500,000. You get 250,000 pesos absolute gains. So mind you, the gains by the investors are tax free kasi naka-bake na dun sa sa price ng NAVs. Ang ibig sabihin ng NAV PS would be net asset value per share. Okay? naka-factor in na yung taxes doon sa presyo na yun. Kaya bilang investor, so naka-black box na yun sa inyo. So you simply divide your money by the buying price and then multiply mo siya sa selling price kapag gusto mo siya i-benta. So whether partial or full exit, pwede. Halimbawa, 200k shares lang gusto mo ibenta at 2.5. So pwede po yun. So may matitira ka ng 300,000 units. Of course, hindi absolute gains mo is 250. Okay. So in terms of ROI ninyo sa investment, you can always look. Pwede nyo nang hindi pansinin yung number of units. You can always base sa NAVs na initial versus the current. Okay. So 2.5 over 2, di ba? It's 1.25. Okay? So can I get a thumbs up kung nakasunod naman? Madali lang, di ba? Kahit simple math lang naman, ang kailangan, hindi mo kailangan ng calculus, yan. No higher maths needed sa financial career. Kaya gusto ko rin, by the way, I'm a engineer, graduate sa UP. I'm a BSECE. I worked for 7 years sa Nokia, and sad to say, we were retrenched. Okay. So, fortunately naman, I was doing part-time na kay Sun Life back then. Yun din. Extra income lang sa simula. Then right now, I love the advocacy because hindi ko naman kayo inakalang matutulungan, di ba? In the form of this webinar. Okay, so that's what keeps me going. I get to help people, strangers or not. Okay. Siyempre, after this seminar, you can always add me naman. Okay, so let me discuss to you the 6 advantages of investing in mutual funds. Okay. Number 1, gawa ng medyo kabataan pa nga kayo. If you don't do self-study, most likely, ang knowledge nyo on finances would be, let's say, medyo hilaw pa, di ba? So, ang mutual funds, isa sa mga advantage niyo is ito, professional fund management. So, hindi na kayo mag-iisip na ano bibilhin, di ba? Kasi the fund manager does the job. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, comparing sa, halimbawa, I'm not saying you should not save, di ba? Of course, when you get to have a job na, ipunin nyo agad, ang una nyo agad i-goal is save up for at least 3 to 6 months of your salary. And then once you have that kind of money na in your savings, yung next yung savings, you can start investing. That's the proper way. Kasi, bakit? Before you even invest, you should have liquidity. Okay. Ang concept ng liquidity is, okay, let me call on Gia, May, Hugo. Gia, nandiyan ka ba? Gia or Gia? Hello, Gia. How about, Nico Tuazon? Sige. Umalis siya.
Hello, sir. Ano po yung tanong ulit, sir?
Ayan, so ano ang idea mo sa liquidity, sir?
Liquidity, sir, ano po siya? Madali po siyang i-convert into cash.
Yan, readily available sa cash. Tama. Thank you for answering. So sa mutual
Thank you.
funds, we are very liquid. So, diba, apart from being able to invest, you should have a ready cash in the form of savings for any emergencies. So para naman dun yung pinapaipon ko sa inyo ng 3 to 6 months worth of salary, diba? So let's say ano usual work ng isang financial management student graduate? Can I call on, ito, nalito ko sa pangalan nito nung gumagawa ko certificate. Si Elorde John. Okay. Please unmute, sir.
Ulit ko ng tanong, sir.
Teka muna, ko-confirm ko lang, yung John mo talagang una yung N, no?
Apo.
Okay, sige. Hindi naman ako nagkamali sa certificate. Okay, so yan dyan. Ano yung tanong ko? So, ano yung idea mo sa liquidity, di ba sinabi ko? Then, ano usual landing job niyo as per graduation?
As ano po, sir?
Kanyari, pagka-graduate mo, saan mo tina-target mag-work?
Ano, sir? Pwedeng sa mga auditing firm or mga bangko.
Okay.
Basta
So,
related to financial. Pwede
okay.
rin po sa mga financial advice, mga ganyan, sir.
Yan, so sige. So ano, parang meron kayong background din sa accounting pala.
Meron po.
I see. Okay. So yan. So if, halimbawa, alam ko syempre sa ako ng financial advisor because I'm one. Pero let's say sa auditing, do you have an idea how much tina-target mo sweldo?
Ano po, sir?
Kunyari, sa auditing firm ka nagtrabaho, like how much ang tina-target mo ma-earn monthly salary?
Hindi ko alam, sir.
Dapat alam mo kasi kunyari ako yung HR, di ba? So, di mo alam asking price mo. Baka barating kita. Diba? Sige, give a ballpark estimate. Is it 20,000, 30,000, 40,000?
Mga 30 siguro, sir.
Yan, so 30,000, di ba? So, yun, guys. I think nag-attend na rin kayo kay Financial Fairy, no? So, who is my teammate? So, doon sa financial planning niya, yung emergency fund part, she also advises to save up for at least 3 to 6 months worth of salary. Yun yung emergency fund. Then, yan. Liquid kayo at least kung may na-hospitalize, ganyan, or kaya kailangan may travel, di ba? So, pwede kayo mag-ipon doon or magbawas doon. Balik nyo na lang. Then, the surplus, you can always invest na. Kasi, yun naman, tatalo kayo ng inflation. At bilang mag-invest kayo sa mutual funds, our funds are very liquid. So, aside from one fund, wala na may isang holding period na 7 days. And 7 days, truth be told, is also quite liquid na rin, di ba? Diba kung na-hospital man ng may isang family, 1 week delayed lang ang pera kung doon kayo sa fund na naka-invest. Pero the rest, kunyari, mga equity funds namin, walang holding period yun. You can buy and sell anytime. So that's another advantage. So far, we tackled professional fund management as well as liquidity. So now we go to higher potential returns. So let's say, comparing sa isang bank, di ba? So, I'm not bad-mouthing any banks, okay? So, in fact, I encourage you to save first before you invest, di ba? Pero, whatever your surplus, kunyari, may savings ka na 1 million, hindi mo naman siya gagamitin anytime soon. So, might as well, you should invest that, okay? Kasi, comparing sa isang savings account, sino dito may bank account? May I get a thumbs up? Kahit even as a student, meron na kayong bank account. Okay, so mukhang wala nagsa-thumbs up. Okay, so, or kahit walang thumbs up, let's say, mga parents or kapatid na nagtatrabaho na, have you asked them how much ba ang kinikita ng isang savings account? Can I get a thumbs up? Sino ba dito may mga kapatid na may, sure kayo may bank account? Okay, so ano kayo, puro kayo lahat single child. So wala kayong mga kapatid. So, or parents. Yan, sige. I'd like to call on ito. Yan, kausap ko to. Si Erica. Erica, can you unmute?
Yes po, sir.
Yan, so sir. Ma'am. So, ano idea mo how much does a savings account earn?
Ano po, sir? Hindi ko pa medyo naintindihan.
Magkano interest rate binibigay ng bangko for the savings account? Nasa savings account ng bank.
Sa pagkakaalam ko po kasi 2% lang po ato o 1%.
Actually, mataas yung 2% or 1%. So, ang sad reality ng banks, guys, is nasa ano lang siya, 0.125% lang siya. Okay. It used to be 0.25, so kinalahati pa nila ngayon. Kasi hindi lang yun, may gains tax pa kayo na 20%. So, effectively, 0.01% lang talaga yun. yung savings account ninyo na earnings, di ba? So sa Sun Life, even our most conservative fund could give you around 1 to 2%. So based on historical performance. Although, may disclaimer dito syempre, kahit sa stocks or any investment vehicle, past performance does not guarantee future performance. Okay? So hindi porket let's say, ang ibang mutual funds like US feeder na mga fund, tech feeder funds, let's say on 2020 alone, they gave out mga 80%. Imagine, diba? In a year, tumubo ng 80% ng pera mo. So of course, come 2022, hindi yung guarantee na mag-80%. Although yan. So may general guide naman tayo. Kunyari, depende sa asset class ng fund mo. If it's more on the equity, meaning to say stock market ng underlying assets ng fund, in the long run, it could average around 8 to 10%. Kapag ka bond fund naman, nasa 4 hanggang 5%. Okay? And then kapag ka balance, it's something in between, roughly around 7 to 8%. Yeah. So, that's the another advantage. And then, yan. Ito, concept of diversification. So, ano yung sikat na phrase for diversification? Can I call on Joanna Marie? Kalay ba to? Hello, Joanna?
Hello, sir.
Ayan. So, ano yung sikat na phrase for diversification?
Sikat na phrase. I don't know about that, sir. I'm not familiar with that, sir.
Ang clue ko sa'yo is may eggs tsaka basket.
Okay. Kailangan wag mong, kung may pera ka, wag mo nang ilagay sa isang basket. You need to diversify your money to different baskets, sir.
Okay, correct. So, yun. Ano ba una ang advantage ng diversification? Ayun nga, kung ang analogy doon, di ba, is kapag lahat ng pera mo or yung eggs mo nakalagay lang sa isang basket, yung nadapa ka, basag lahat ng itlog, di ba? So, analogy yun for a financial loss. But if you are, let's say, iniwan mo sa ibang lugar yung ibang eggs, di ba? So at least, kahit na nadapa ka, you won't suffer much of a financial loss. Excuse lang. So, there. And by investing sa mutual funds sa Sun Life, you are achieving instant diversification. Kasi all of our funds, regardless of what funds you choose, are diversified na across companies. Kasi 'di ba, wala namang mutual fund na iisa lang ang ini-invest ang company, parang ganun, yung idea. Okay? So let's say we also have the expertise globally. Kasi alam mo, bilang Pinoy, yung access points natin towards international investments are also limited by our knowledge, diba? So let's say, meron ba dito nag-crypto na as early as now? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, so mukhang wala. Ano kaya ang pinagkakabalahan ng mga kabataan ngayon? Okay, so sa bagay, hindi naman din ako nag-invest nung estudyante ako. So let's say, yun, crypto, di ba? Up until now, I don't do cryptos because, number one, medyo wala akong tiwala sa fundamentals nila. And then number two, I don't know how. Parang yeah, so yeah, admittedly, hindi ko pa siya alam saan ba makakabili ng crypto. So although there are room for improvement, so I could always watch mga YouTube tutorials on how. Siguro, in 3 years siguro yan, I'll start checking kung how to invest in cryptos. And then, lastly, I want to emphasize this. Yung tanong kanina na even as a student, can I invest? So, nasa slide, you can start investing with only 1,000 pesos. Now, of course, bilang student, mahirap pa rin mag-ipon ng 1,000. Ang good news ko sa inyo, guys, we have a fund for those 100 pesos. Yan. So, it's a money market fund. Pwede kayo mag-ipon. Let's say, magkano ba usual baon ngayon? Can I call on Zorilla Maria Hazel.
Yes po.
Ayan, if you don't mind me asking, magkano na baon ng students ngayon?
Nagre-range po kasi ng 150 to 200 pesos po.
Ayan. So sa isang araw.
Yes po.
At bilang estudyante ba, nagagastos mo, let's say, ang 150 pesos?
Hindi po.
Yeah. So how quick can you, let's say, save up a 100 pesos?
Ano po, siguro po itatabi na lang po muna yung pera na hindi naman po kailangan. Like for example, yung bibit-bitin ko lang po sa isang araw is yung sakto lang pong pampamasahe at saka yung pampagkain po.
So kunyari, yan, tapatin na kita. How quick can you, let's say, save up 1,000 pesos? Ikaw pa rin, Hazel.
Paikutin po yung pera. Paikutin po yung sobrang pera dun sa allowance po.
Kunyari, in a month, can you save up? Ano lang, gusto ko lang ma-gauge ang audience. Kasi first time ko rin mag-contact sa students. So I usually conduct these kinds of seminars sa mga adults na. Okay, so ang 1,000 pesos is how much or how long usually it takes para makasave ka ng ganyan as a student?
As a student po, 2 to 3 weeks. Ganun
Okay,
po.
not bad So, kumbaga kaya mo save up ng 1K in less than a month. So, ayan. So, can I get a thumbs up among all of you attendees if do you find, let's say, totoo ba itong slide ko na affordable na ang mutual funds? Okay, so mukhang wala pang nakukumbinse, no? So, yan, may pitch-in material ako. So, if, let's say, saan ba kasi yan comparing? Diba? So, let's compare it to the board lot of PSEI. So, nung sinipag ako, I retrieved the data of stock exchange index na top 30 companies natin sa Pilipinas. As of August 16, ito yung mga closing price nila. Okay? Ito kung sakali man ako mapili na speaker ninyo doon sa live seminar ninyo. Isa rin doon sa topic ko, ang board lot tables. Kasi how do you interpret this table is the following. Depende sa price ng isang stock. Let's say, I call Trixie Mendoza. Please unmute, Trixie. Ba't gano'n, no? Una ko lagi tinatawag. Medyo wala. Trixie, yan dyan ka ba? Okay, so let's call on Aaron, again, Reginald. Kindly unmute yourself, sir. There. Hello? Hindi siya na nagsasalita, I think. Aaron? Narinig mo kami, Aaron? Yan, nag-unmute siya guys, pero hindi siya nagsasalita. How about Mr. Hani? Hani ba to? Or Miss or Mr. Hani Bernardo? Bilis yung question. Papipiliin lang kita ng isang company dyan. Ayun, nag-reconnect si Aaron. Ayan. Baka may chance na to sa Aaron. Aaron, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. Nag-unmute ka. Okay, mukhang may connection problem or hearing problem pa rin siya. Ayan, Asen. Ayan. So si Ryan. Thank you for choosing Asen, di ba? So let's say si Asen, di ba guys? Ang closing price niya is 8.72. So where does it fall under the range? So it's between 5 to 9.99, di ba? So the way to interpret this is, for you to buy ASEN, you need at least 100 shares. Okay? Meaning to say, pag minultay kayo sa 100, you need at least 872 pesos. Okay? To even buy ASEN Corporation. Okay? At kapag ginawa mo yun sa lahat ng kumpanya, sa index pa lang ha, okay? At tinotal mo yung sum of products nila, kailangan mo at least 90,000 for you to buy minimum kung naka-direct investment ka. So balik tayo rito, sa mutual funds, let's say nag-invest ka sa index funds, which merely copies yung weighted distribution nito. Of course, you don't own let's say 1 or 10 shares ng Ayala Corporation. So fraction yun. Pero even as a fraction, may exposure ka for as low as 1,000, let's say. Okay? So now, can I ask again my question? Do you find yung affordability feature ng isang mutual funds now? Can I get a thumbs up? Yan. So may mga nag-thumbs up na. So thank you everyone who are participating. Okay. So yun lang naman yung main highlights ng di-discuss ko. Kaya pansin nyo, isang oras na halos pero slightly. Pero come from here, medyo papakilala ko na lang kayo sa what types of mutual funds do we have sa Sige, okay lang yun, Sir Aaron. Okay. Pwede pala Sige, okay. Anyway, so from here on out, may one pager, you can take a screenshot of this, or it is easily searchable sa Google. So let's say, yan. Yan. So let's say, hanapin niyo Sun Life Prosperity Funds. Yan. So there. It's easily searchable. Kung ano yung mga binanggit ko kanina na features, almost yan na rin yun. Okay? Tapos, andito po yung aming mga mutual funds na one-pagers. Okay? Kung ano yung mga funds na yun, we will go through them one by one. Hindi lang yun, we also have dollar funds. So, if let's say, meron kayong mga tito-tita na medyo established sa buhay, and they have dollars on hand, and they would want to invest it, you may easily refer them to me. So, yan. Pero, in terms of yung type of fund, it can be summarized as follows. Yan. So, si Prosperity Money Market Fund, this is kind of arranged depending sa risk and reward ratio niya. Okay, so sa conservative risky and conservative na spectrum, this is our most conservative fund kasi itong fund na to, ang pinatatapat lang namin to against time deposit accounts sa banks. So meaning to say, kung ang banks or time deposits is can only return 1.2 hanggang 1.5%, depende sa capital ng nasa bangko. Ang money market ni Sun Life could yield you mga 1 to 2.2. Okay? So, ang pinaka-investment objective niya is capital preservation. Okay? So, bagay ito sa mga retirees. Let's say, nakaipon na sa buhay. So, of course, kung retiree ka na, let's say, and if you have, let's say, 30 million at hand, hindi mo siya invest sa stock market. Kasi ang stock market, may volatility na mataas. Okay? Let's say in a day, nag-minus 10% siya. So, baka atakin sa puso yung retiree kasi nawalan siya ng 3 million. Although, that's paper loss pa lang naman. Okay? Sa money market fund, ang pinaka-goal dito is capital preservation. So, although it is beaten by the inflation, at least kumikita ka pa rin kaysa wala. Tapos ang short-term horizon siya. Kasi we also have mga mga 7-day holding period lang siya. Tapos it is really suited for the conservative investor. Tapos ang mga underlying assets niya is mga liquid ones like fixed income tsaka mga cash equivalents. Kaya ang type fund niya is money market. And then next one, siguro next to money market fund, medyo conservative din ang government securities fund. Why? So it's a kind of bond pero focusing only on the government na nangungutang. Let's say that instrument. So let's say kailangan ng gobyerno mag-raise ng funds, capital para pang construction ng mga museum, ganyan, kaya roads or bridges. They offer to institutions like banks and mga insurance companies, yung mga big boys sa investment market. Nag-offer sila ng government securities. Kasi kahit sobrang laki ng capital mo, they can guarantee you for let's say 3 to 5%. Yeah. So if in the 30 billions or in the billions range na yung capital ng mga big boys, then that is attractive, di ba? Kasi let's say 3 billion, 10% noon, so 300 million divided by 2. So 150 million. So guaranteed din ng government, no? Let's say in a years or in 5 years time. So that's still attractive for may mga kinababagayan siya. Ang mga most likely kinds nito is moderate if you're the investor buying a government security fund. So it's still a higher risk than the money market. Although, syempre, yung gaya ng sinabi ni Ryan kanina, na it's peg against the market price. So kung hindi attractive din ng bonds ngayon, it can have a lower market value than the initial, okay? Pero all the same, ang ginagawa niya is preservation din ng capital and then earning some income. Okay. So pag sinabing medium term ng mga government bonds, it usually ranges more than 2 years na. 2 to 10 years. Kasi pag more than 10 year na bond, so nasa long term. Okay? And then, if hinaluan siya ng mga corporate bonds, hindi lang government ang umutang. Let's say, ang mahilig dito sa Pilipinas would be mga big players din, like SM. So instead of raising, di ba kasi sa stock market, if nakapag-IPO ka na, you can also raise funds by issuing another set of shares. And o kaya issue ka ng bond. Yeah. So instead of issuing new shares, kasi madadilute yung ownership nila. So what they do instead is mangungutang sila sa mga credible investors para they could, let's say SM, constructing another mall. So of course, it would take millions if not billions of capital, diba, to construct a new mall. Then in return, they are guaranteeing, let's say, a higher interest rate than what government offers. Kasi between a corporation at government, less risky ang government. Bakit? Kasi the only time malulugi ang gobyerno, kumbaga, if it were not for other external factors, the government could always raise taxes against its citizens to collect more money or simply print more money to counter ganun. Although syempre, may complications din yun. If they print more money, magde-devaluate yung money. So pagka ang corporation ang umuutang, it's riskier than the government. Kasi, halimbawa, si Metrobank umutang. Although matatag na company naman at bangko ang Metrobank, so of course, you wouldn't know. Diba? Even the longest running bank nasa UK, nagsara recently, diba? So what more kung mas bata pa na bank. So parang ganun. And then, before we discuss balance fund and achiever funds, I want to reiterate lang itong index fund. So it basically copies these 30 companies, okay, according to their weight. So nagre-rebalance lang ang index natin twice a year, I think February and August. Okay. So let's say si Converge, heavyweight na siya ngayon sa index. Kasi dati medyo new player lang siya. So, mababa lang yung weight niya. So, nung nag-rebalance this August, all the companies na may mutual funds also followed suit. Kasi since kinakopy nila yung index, weighted average siya. So, kung ano yun. Sige, Ryan, do you have question? Ryan, do you have question?
No, sir, sorry po. Napindot po, ayaw matanggal.
Sige, mute lang kita. Ayan. So, kinakopy lang niya index, di ba? So, and then, if ano naman, Philippine equity, ito mas actively managed. Di ba? Yung keyword dyan, active, puro nakapeg pa rin siya sa stocks. Okay? Pero hindi siya limited to these 30 companies. So, halimbawa, nung wala pang Converge way back na hindi pa siya part of the index. So, one of the rising stars pa lang siya. Kapag nasa equity fund ka, most likely kasama nila yun nakukuha. May exposure ka sa mga rising star pa lang na stocks. Kapag index, limited ka sa 30. So, yun. In terms of management fees, syempre, ito, kinaka-copy-paste lang nila sa current weights. So, mas less management fees ito. Ito, since medyo iniisipan pa nila, they trying to beat the index by investing against a company na na rising star pa lang ganyan. So mga mid-cap companies especially. Yeah, so we also have higher management fees. Okay? And then the balance, as previously mentioned, it's a mix of bond fund as well as equity fund. So depende yan sa how much is the risk appetite of the investor. So we can have, let's say, a conservative balance fund. Let's say 80% bonds and 20% is naka-allocate sa equities. Whether it's 60-40, 50-50, or the other way around, 60% equities, 40% sa bonds. Yan, bagay sa mga mas pangbata pa na investors. For, let's say, sa inyo, ilan ba average age ninyo? Parang alala ko sabi ni Erica, mga ano nga yun, Erica? Below 22? Ano ba? So kung medyo bata pa kayo, ayan, you have the time on your side. I suggest, even if take the riskier path, kasi let's say naka-index fund ka, even if mag-correct yan or magkaroon ng market volatility, you have 40 years to go for in the working years of your life na makaka-cope up yan. And mas talo kayo if nag-conservative kayo this week. Ang bagay kasi sa mga conservatives yung mga medyo on the retirement side na. Di ba? Kasi ang objective talaga nila is preservation na. If you want prioritizing capital and growth, so ito naman, it's also a balanced fund, ang achiever fund namin. Pero, may theme lang sila. This one matures at year 2028. This one matures at 2038 tsaka 2048. Okay. Pero nevertheless, this is also, both are actively managed, of course. So, hindi naman laging 60-40 ang distribution yan. Ganun. Minsan, let's say nung pandemic, they conserve medyo sa bonds. Kasi it used to be 80-20. Now, ang balance man ni Sun Life nasa 60-40. 60% na lang nasa equity due to the volatility that we have right now. Okay? So, sa dollar equivalent, if you have yan mga relatives, ang equivalent ng peso starter fund namin or money market would be this one, the dollar starter. So mga short term tsaka fixed income yan. So conservative side yun. And yung dollar abundance, medyo parang siya yung government security tsaka bond fund equivalent. And then itong mga Wellspring, Advantage tsaka Voyager, yan yung mga medyo capital growth ang investment objective. Okay. So this one falls under balance kasi siguro may mga fixed income pa rin siya na element. While this one, purely equities na. Okay. So pag sinabing mga feeder fund, have you heard of that? It's a fund of funds. So di ba, si Sun Life of Canada, si SLAMC rather, they are pulling funds from clients here, mga Filipinos. And then sa US, let's say ang asset under management namin, di ba, nasa 174 billion pa lang US dollars. Or was it peso? So sa ibang bansa, say particularly the US, they have a bigger asset managed na in the trillions of dollars. So comparing si Sun Life, si SLAMC, we are just but a little player against the global market. So parang nakiki-mutual funds din tayo sa ibang bansa. Ganun yung ibig sabihin ng mga funds of funds. Fundception. Parang ganun. So there. From here on out, just if we are discussing the funds one by one. However, I just want to breeze to these funds. Okay, papakita ko lang ano yung explicitly yung assets nila under that fund kasi dito na naka-detail yan. Tsaka yung distribution nila. As well as, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, minimum initial investment for you, especially students, you can start as early as now with just 100 pesos. Then if you want to invest another fund, that's another 100. So isipin mo na lang kung si Hazel kanina kaya niya mag-ipon na 1K less than a month. So what more, di ba? So habang bata kayo, take advantage of investing. Kasi ang advantage niyo would be more time to compound your investment and therefore would give you bigger returns sa future at a lower cost. Diba? Kasi if you ask me about in my own words, how do I describe an investment? It's basically a target savings by this time without saving that amount equally. Gets ba? Ano ba? Kung gusto ko mag-ipon ng 50 million by the time I reach age 60, I don't have to save up equivalent mismo ng 50 million. Dapat lesser kasi I use the financial system on my side. Diba? Kung maka-earn ako ng let's say extra 40 million lang, 10 million lang nilabas ko in my lifetime, then that would be great, right? So, sige. So, yan yung sa Pesa Starter Fund. Yan yung pinakamura naming fund. Tapos ang underlying asset niya would be mga fixed income. So, this is a conservative. So, let's say gusto niyo mag-invest agad sa stock market or index fund pero 100 pesos pa lang ang gusto niyo. So, ipon ka ng 10 months. Then, once you get to have at least 1,000 pesos, you can fund switch later on to an index fund. So, pwedeng ganun na pa. Okay? Dito naman sa government securities, actually, mga sumunod na fund, puro 1K na lang yun. Okay? Ito yung sinabi ko, treasury bond. Ito yung parang input ni Ryan kanina na retail bonds to themselves. Pero it's a multiple funds na siya. Okay? Tapos, kung makita nyo, majority talaga is allocated to government bonds. Then itong mga money market is most likely sa government pa rin nakapeg yan. So there. Next. Na skip natin ito. Yan. So sa bond fund naman natin, although majority pa rin is government bonds, we now have the concept of corporate bonds. Tapos, yan. Kung corporate bonds and corporate loans, almost the same lang naman yan. Ito, baka difference lang din is in the maturity. So, meron pa rin siyang mga liquid instruments like money market. Okay. And then, itong maturity profile, let's say, among the among the distribution of the funds, majority sa kanila magmamature in less than 5 years. Ganyan siya ma-interpret. Okay? Kasi kung makita nyo, ang mga maturity year ng bond fund nila is 2026. Yan yung pinakamatagal. Okay? So next, balance fund. There. So makita nyo, 50-50 sila. Ang stocks is naka-allocate 50%. The rest, Pwede siyang real estate, corporate bonds, government bonds, money market, corporate loans, saka time deposits. Okay. So, ganyan na yung distribution ng isang balance mo. Then, yun, if ako yung maging speaker niya sa live, I'll tackle more about the sectors. Pero for now, ang overview ko dyan would be, of course, we have different kinds of companies that are listed publicly. So let's say BDO, so of course, it falls under banks. Pero let's say Globe, it falls under telecommunications. Meralco, it would fall, utility and energy. So parang ganun yung idea. Tapos, since 50-50 sila, 50 sa stocks, ito yung heavyweight sila. Ang heavyweight ng balance fund namin apparently is sa SM. Top 3 nila in fact is SM. Kasi diba si SM Prime, of course, kay SM as well as BDO. And then sa top fixed income holdings, puro mga treasury bonds. Okay. By the way, since we are talking about this one, so pag clinic mo ata ito, I think meron siyang lalabas na, ano ba ito? Yung FFS. Ito. Fund fact sheet. So, hindi ko siya sinasabi fund fact sheet kasi parang pangit. So, FFS na lang. So, almost the same lang din yung nakalagay dyan. Kung anong equity holdings. Tapos, makita nyo, 99% is allocated really sa stocks. Tapos, sobrang konti na lang yung natitira for the liquid instruments. Okay, so balik tayo rito. How about ang ating achiever fund? So as you can see, mas conservative siya sa ating balance kasi ito 50% stocks. While here, it's only 36% na nasa stocks. Bakit? Kasi malapit na siya mag-mature. So 5 years before maturity year, nag-glide na siya towards more conservative instruments. Kaya majority na rito, puro liquid assets like government bonds, saka time deposits. So, asahan ninyo by year 2023 or 2024, which is 5 years na lang before maturity, baka 20% na lang to, yung equities. Pa-conservative siya ng pa-conservative. Until, come end of year 2028, 100% na siya halos na nasa bonds. Or most probably money markets na. Para protected yung gains lahat ng investors. Okay, pero nevertheless, naka-iterate pa rin dyan. So kung mapansin nyo, medyo paulit-ulit lang siya. Tapos again, minimum and subsequent is 1,000. Tapos in terms of sector allocation, meron din siya. So from here, medyo mabis na discussion natin. Ayan, so sa prosperity, sa 2038, makita nyo, since matagal pa ang time horizon nito, majority pa siya nakalagak sa stock market. So 75%. Then you also have real estate. Bago lang ito sa Philippines. Kanyari mga A-REIT, Mega World REIT. So, bago lang siya. If you don't have yet an idea what are REITs, you can search again Google kung ano yung mga relevant contents. Okay. Pero in a nutshell, it's a separate company na ang bentahe is dividends coming from rental income. So let's say Shangri-La Makati, diba? So it's a hotel. Kung ano yung booking sila doon, if it's enclosed in the Ayala REIT, so 90% ng rental income nila would be feeded invested back to the investor. Kumbaga, binibigay yon as dividends. Okay. So there. So nevertheless, it has top equity holdings. Most likely mga index stocks lang din. Okay. Then 2048, you guess it right, mas malaki pa yung stock allocation niya. Kasi mas malayo to. Diba? Pero all the same, 1,000, 1,000. Tapos may kinababagain lang siyang sectors. Yan. Kung mapansin nyo pala, dito, di ba, ang heavyweight niya is mga conglomerates. So, bakit? For example, SM Investment Corporation, this is the parent company of SM Prime as well as BDO. Diba? Kung mas stable kasi yung parent company, kasi ito, mga subsidiary na. Okay. So, dyan nyo rin makikita alin sectors ng what type of companies are deemed by the investment companies like SLAMC na mas stable. Okay, and then we have this one, Prosperity Index Fund. So it merely copies the PSCI, best in the PSCI. Then passively managed siya kasi kinakopy lang talaga niya. So siguro nung time na to, ang heavyweight pa is si S. So wala ako dito sa hindi siya nakabase sa price kundi sa market capitalization niya. More of that na lang kapag ako na yung speaker niyo. Then ito na yung mga feeder fund, di ba? It is a fund of funds. So from SLAMC, we are nakikimutual funds lang din kasi ibang funds. So worldwide, this is one of the top index, yung MSCI. It tracks the performances of top companies in the world. Okay. So, ang mga heavyweights yan, you guess it right, syempre yung mga tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, or as they call it, yung FANG stocks, di ba? You have Facebook, you have Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Kasi sila yung namayagpag during the pandemic. Isa pa rin advantage pala yun, comparing sa index stock. Halimbawa, wala tayong masyadong tech company sa Philippines. Okay? Sa ibang bansa, kunyari, wala naman tayong, Cherry Mobile, it's a device manufacturer, pero it's not listed publicly. Diba? Pero Apple, it's a very well-versed brand, known worldwide, and in the trillions of dollars din ata ang valuation nito eh. So, yeah. So, yun yung advantage nyo if you opt for a international funds. Okay? And then, so makikita nyo, wala tayong information technology na sector kapag mga Philippine market. Wala. Also, we don't have healthcare na company sa Pilipinas. Although, let's say we have top hospitals like St. Luke's, mga Makati Med, gano'n. They're not listed public kasi private yung owners doon. Okay. Sa ibang bansa, let's say, have you heard about 3M, di ba yung mga gumagawa ng face mask? So they are listed publicly, so let's say New York Stock Exchange. Yun yung dalawang wala sa Pilipinas na ma-achieve nyo if you invest globally. Just heads up, ito yung pinakamahal naman naming entry. So it used to be 50,000 ang start, pero binaba na yun ngayon sa 10,000. Okay, subsequent na ngayon is 1,000 din. So, yeah. In terms of saan mga bansa siya naka-allocate, heavyweight yan would be US. Kasi doon naman ang karamihan ng billionaires or the largest companies in the world. Okay? The rest, mga siya, lower weights. Okay? Excuse me. Then, yan. Ito yung mga dollar equivalent namin. Meron na siya time deposit or mga fixed income. And in terms of allocation, mga short-term notes, placement, mga bonds. Medyo siya liquid talaga. Kasi fixed income. And then maturity profile, most of which are maturing within 6 months. Sa dollar, ang pinakamura namin I think is 500 USD. Subsequent is 100. Pero sa mga medyo mahal din to kasi USD times 57 nga yung exchange rate, right? So you need at least 57 to 60,000 euro for you to invest in a dollar fund. Okay. So i-breeze through lang natin. So meron ding Wellspring, yun yung balance fund equivalent naman sa dollar as well as dollar advantage. So ito mas mga mabababa na yung entry point. 1K, same lang pala. So ganun pa rin around 60,000 in pesos. Then ito yung mga equip for growth. Okay. So pag sinabing global, any other market aside from US or Asian, not explicitly stated here. Okay? Tsaka mapansin nyo, ang mutual funds na dollar ni Sun Life, we are not directly participating in the companies. Kundi ano rin tayo, nakiki-mutual funds lang din tayo overseas. Okay? Which is fairly safe kasi yung mga bigger boys na to, sila, they do the thinking. Where do they allocate? Okay? And then, ito, World Voyager, yan. Mapapansin nyo, majority talaga equities. So, these are equipped for growth. So, bagay ito sa mga aggressive investors. Okay. So, same lang. Okay. Yung mga natanggal pala sa room. Yeah, there. So, ayan, guys. Do you have any questions so far? What are your questions for me? You may chat or unmute. Okay, so I take it, baka too much pa to na info, no? Kaya hindi niya maisip yung tatanungin, no? So now we go to, proceed muna tayo, prosperity historical funds. Yan. Ito, nasa public info lang din yan. Bawa dito. Here. So, if you take a look at all the funds, ang iniba lang ng YTD is year to date. So, mula January 1 hanggang ngayon. Ang year on year, kung September 12 ngayon, ang comparison niyan is September 12 of 2021. So, year on year. And then, ito yung mga current NABs namin. Or NAB. Okay? Ayan. So, 100 pesos pala yung asset under management. Okay? And then, in terms of 10-year data, ito naman. So, mapansin nyo yung mga mas matatandang fund are the core funds like bond, balance, and equity. And then, as to the newer ones like index stocks, it was around 2016 na launch. As well as mga dollar fund. So, let's say itong wave, bagong-bago lang, ng 2020 lang. And on year 1 alone, it already produced a 25% return. Although, it does not guarantee naman na 25% siya all the way. As you can see, if may takeaway kayo dyan, there are some years na mataas yan. There are some years na negative yan na malaki. Ang importante is you are exposed and invested. Okay? So next topic natin would be determining what kind of investor are you. Okay? Are you the conservative one? Are you the balanced one? Or the aggressive one? Okay. So, sige. We'll attempt to give an analogy in terms of yung risk appetite. Ano ba maintindihan niya? Can I call on yan, si Kimberly Claros? Kim, are you there? Okay, seems wala. So how about si Shane Marie Nicole? Hello, Shane? Uy, makatulog na kayo ah. Sino na ang gising pa? Si Ryan na lang ulit. Sino nag-unmute? Si Miko ba yun?
Good evening, sir.
Miko, good evening. So, let's say, i-analogy natin sa travel. Are you an avid traveler, Miko?
Sir, paulit po.
Nagta-travel ka ba?
No po, hindi po.
Ayan. So let's say I would peg you dun sa ano yan, di mo hilig or ano, di mo pala na-experience.
As of now po, hindi ko pa po siya experience ng police, sir, kasi medyo busy talaga.
Sa bagay, mga students na. Pero let's say, sige, ang point ko lang naman is, if you're a traveler, anong klaseng traveler ka? Do you prefer to go with someone? Or say, do you go to travel alone? Kasi ba, if you travel with family, you're kind of conservative. Hindi ka mahihiwalay sa solo.
Siguro po, travel with someone po.
Travel with someone. Kung ano lang, girlfriend lang yun. So, dito sa balance. Sakto lang. Hindi na kayo,
Yes, sir.
hindi naman kayo lalayo kasi kayo nga yung magkasama. So, pag yung mga solo travelers ay yun yung medyo aggressive. Kasi kaya nila even on their own. Strong and independent. Yeah, so there. And in terms of how do you allocate then your investment portfolio in the future? So, again, time is of the essence. Yung factor ng ilang years pa kayo to go when you're not even working yet, di ba? So you have 40 years down the line to really save up and invest to make your dreams come true. There. So I would highly suggest na you go the aggressive path. Kasi even if malugi kayo ng konti, sure, makakapag-cope up kayo kasi many times to recover. You have many years ahead to recover. Okay, so kung ayaw nyo ng fully 100% equities kayo, you can allocate 20% for mga mas conservative like bonds and money market. And then for the balance one, pwede 50-50. Ito siguro yung mga in their late 40s and early 50s. Kasi you still have around 10 to 20 years of working, pwede ka pa mag-save up. But at the same time, you don't want to tackle all the volatility. Diba? Kasi yung life's work or half of life's work mo, i-risk mo ba? Siyempre hindi. Okay. Then for the conservative one, these are pegged for the almost retiree or the retired ones. Kasi bonds are fairly secure. Okay, kung 80% dyan, you can really, pwede ka umasa sa bonds kasi this still gives out naman 4 to hanggang 5%, which still beats inflation, in a way. And yun. So, parang hindi ka masyado maraming aalalahanin. I give you the age rule. Okay? So, whatever your age right now, yun lang ang dapat na sa conservative side. Okay? So, let's say ako 31, so dapat mga 30% yung nasa bonds ko and money market. Then 70%, I should still be able to invest in aggressive instruments like stock or equity funds. Okay? Yeah. Let's skip through this. Halimbawa, yung sabi lang niya kung 80-10-10 ka, so 80% conservative, then go for 80% as starter, ganyan. Okay? So in terms of returns mo, so depende sa pipiliin mo. Kung let's say you are about to use the money you have saved in your lifetime within 3 years, you are expecting about this much return. And kung may 5 years ka pa sa time horizon mo before you use up your money or start using your retirement, diba, you can still expect around ganong projected returns. Okay? So bukod sa financial capability, of course, you should be able to factor in your age as well as health condition mo. If, let's say, you do have a health condition na, so dapat medyo conservative side ka na. You don't want to risk your money in a, let's say, equity fund because if kailangan mo na ng medical funding, paano kung nalugi pa ng half? Diba? Di mangungutang ka pa sa iba. So there. Actually, pagka medical funding, it should be liquid cash na. Kasi anytime kailangan mo ng pambayad. Correct? So there. So kapag aggressive naman, you can opt for, para may exposure ka sa Philippine. So you opt for index stocks as well as WAVE, yung international fund na equities din. Then for stability, you allocate 20% sa isang money market. Okay? So So, in terms of projected returns, ang inaano ata rito kung nag-invest ka, then, noong 2021, then, ano outcome mo? Pares ka pa rin kita, positive. Okay. Ano to, simulation to ng past data. Okay. So, yeah. If you want, let's say, a purely dollar portfolio, let's say sa dollar starter, yan yung conservative, right? So, yan yung mga pang-retirees ito, most likely. So, you are expecting about 5% return in the next 3 years. Medyo mababa if you linearly divide 1 to 2% lang. And then for the aggressive portfolio type of investor, so of course, baliktad. World Voyager is the aggressive fund. And then, ang stable fund would be 20% na. So, yan, 10% siya. Yan. Ito, ang concept lang nito sa mutual funds is if you invest, pwede mo kasi piliin kung front load or back load o kaya no load. So, tingnan natin dito. So, ibig sabihin nito, if you invest 100,000, let's say, kapag pinili mo is front load, hindi buo yung 100%, 100K mo mapang-invest. Nababawasan siya ng 2.2%. Kasi ang kapalit niyan, you can withdraw anytime without exit fees. Kung back-end naman, yan. If let's say kayo students, di ba, mag-iipon kayo every month ng let's say 500 pesos, sabihin natin gano'n. But at the end of 1 year, you have magkano? 500 times 12. So 6,000. And then, let's say, hindi nyo pa naman kailangan. And the next 2 years, may magkaka-work na kayo. Meaning to say, mas malaki na yung purchasing power ninyo. So, let's say, bilang starting out sa life, newly nagkaka-work, you can also beef up your savings or investment, di ba? And let's say mag-aasawa kayo, masyado ko mapinapast track. Let's say within the next 10 years, hindi natin gano'n. So, kung hindi mo pa naman kailangan ng pera, yung sa investment ko, then you can opt for back-end. So, bagay rin to sa inyo. Kasi bakit gano'n? Pag nag-invest ka kasi ng X amount, yung the whole X amount will also be invested. Kung sakali lang kailangan nyo ng immediate withdrawal, if you withdraw in the first year, mayroon siyang exit fees. Then, after the 5th year, wala na. So, bilang estudyante pa kayo, you can opt for back fees kasi kung hindi nyo pa naman kailangan ng investment gains within 6 years. Okay. At least buo yung pera nyo na pang-invest as well as wala rin kayong exit fees. So, sige. Can you type in sa chat box between front end or back end? Ano yung mas nagustuhan niyo? Sige. Kapit lang. We are less than 30 minutes to go lang. Halimbawa ako, at my age, I still opt for back end. Yeah. Kindly chat, everyone. Okay, so, yeah, may mga nagpa-participate pa rin. So, thank you. At least you're still listening to me and tuning in. So, most likely, wala pa nakikita ng front end. Kasi nga, yun nga, mababawasan pa yung agad yung investment value na sinisave up. Kaya kung hindi mo naman na kailangan, talagang back end lang. Okay? Yan. So ito, pang mga higher market na lang natin. Na if they want to, let's say, apply for a no load, mas mataas na yung entry namin, like in the 5 million initial. So, pero yan, if you want not to be, walang sales load sa unahan, di ba? And then, redeem without exit fees. Pwedeng ganun. Ito kahit di ko na to discuss. Kasi nga 5 million na to na worth. Di ba to akma para sa inyo? There. So, yeah. So that concludes my slide. So far, what are your questions for me, guys? Or feedback? To make this more participative, kindly go to this one. Ito to. Go to menti.com. Punta kayo rito. May mga cellphone naman kayo, right? Punta kayo rito. Menti.com.
Saan po ulit?
Menti.com. Ito. Kakopy ko, lalagay ko sa chat. Then, use my code. Ito. Ayan. So, lahat ba nasa menti.com na? Ito yung room code. Type ko lang. 4, 7, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5. So, pag hiningan kayo ng code, ito ilagay. Para sa same room tayo lahat mapunta. Nakikita na ba? No? Can I get a feedback? Were you able to go to the menti.com? Tapos, were you able to key in itong room code? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so isa pa lang ang nandito. Wala pa, ako pa lang ata. So, here, share screen. So once again, please go to www.menti.com. Tapos i-key in nyo ito for sir nakapasok server. Okay. Isa lang. So ito na nga yun. So as a feedback, di ba feedback is a gift. I want to know if you learned something as well as any suggestions. Yan. So I want you to key in your key takeaways for the session. Tapos, ano yan, mag-word cloud siya rito. Yan. So si Medina Angelo, pwede yan. So kung ikaw pa lang yung first one na nakapasok, i-type mo lang doon sa 3 text fields kung ano yung key takeaways mo sa ating session or nagustuhan mo. Ganun. So it will appear here. So do the same for everyone. Yan, may 3 ng tao, 4. Sige, go guys. So habang stop sharing. Share tayo. Yung audio mo. While waiting for everyone to go to eventi.com, 5 pa lang sila nandito. Once again, go to eventi.com and yung chat, yung phone. Yan, 7 people na. And for those who are in the room na, you can please chat your key takeaways. Anonymous naman yun. Yan, so so far we have 10 people. Okay guys, yung sa 'di ba 3 yung text fields? Type nyo lang yung 3 words na summarizing your takeaways for tonight's session. Baka sa sample ako. Yan, example. Yan, so marami na pala nagbibigay. Yan, kita na pala. So nakita nyo ba real time siya nagbabago? So right now we have 21 people. After the song, we will stop na yung presentation na Menti. Yan. So now that the song has ended, yan. Hopefully everyone has already submitted the response. May tanong si Mr. Angelo Medina. Ayan. Anong gusto mo, Angelo, result? Yung itong word cloud, gano'n?
Sir, sorry po. Makiulit po.
Yung tanong mo, di ba po, sir, send result po through Gmail? What's that?
Tapos po kasing sagutan yung tatlong top 3 keywords. May lalabas po kasi na tatlong option. Yung send result po yung napili ko.
Okay. Oh,
Tapos,
yeah. We can, you can click on send me the results. Tapos hihingan ka lang niya ng email. Pero alam ko naman na yung emails niyo from your sign up. So, kahit email ko na lang itong screenshot natin dito for the word cloud. So, is this your first time seeing this kind of feedback tool, guys? So guys, tapos ng lecture you can open na your videos. Boring part is over. Please open naman. Kasi we have photo ops before we end our session. So after nito, i-discuss ko na ng onte ang forms to fill out if you wish to open yung mutual fund for yourself and what are the requirements. Tapos how to fill out those those forms. Okay. So number 1, I emailed you earlier. Tama, di ba? Yung account opening form. Natanggap ba ng lahat? Hello? Si Jaira. Natanggap mo, Jaira? Yung email?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
tingnan natin ha. Ano ba laman ng account opening form? So, ito siya, guys. Ito na pala, nakabukas na pala ako dito. So, yan. I take it na lahat naman ng students use PDF readers. So, na may editor din na built. Pero just in case, I also emailed a free web tool about how to fill this out. So, halimbawa ito, individual, tapos join. Hindi naman kayo mag-join kasi individual. So, the key in your names, tapos yung usual details. And once you fill this out, other requirement lang would be government ID. So, I take it na students pa kayo lahat. So, most likely student ID pa lang meron kayo. Not unless if you have already a driver's license or passport, yan. You can also submit that. Tapos yung in terms of teka lang stop share lang. In terms of where to teka. Ito pala. Ayan. Where to key in your payments. Ito. So that's direct to the SLAMC bank accounts. So we are using lots of banks. So most likely any banks naman na meron kayo dyan would be you can use this. So direct transfer lang. Wala pa tayong billers. Like for example sa GCash, I don't know. Alam ko wala pa. Okay. Or I don't think na may mga, let's say BPI, no? Bilang students pa, hindi wala pa, no? Baka wala pa. Okay, so hopefully, let's say magka-work kayo, if you want to, let's say, get back to me and invest your first earnings or first salary, then just, you know how to contact me naman. I have emailed you the forms ko yan. And then, ito yung last ko sasabihin. Yeah, in terms of IDs, let's say student ID, pwede rin magpabayad kayo, let's say sa parents. Kung meron silang bank account, they can pay for your fund, mutual fund opening. So let's say may cash ka, di ba? So, bigay mo sa parent mo, tapos sila yung magbayad. Bank transfer lang naman yan. Let's say sa BPI. So, that's direct bank transfer. Ito peso account, this is dollar account. Kung anong fund na afford ninyo and trip ninyo pasukin, let's say index fund. So that's only 1,000 pesos. If you want, let's say, peso starter lang muna, pwede pa rin naman, that's 100 pesos. Then lastly, ayun, we now go to graduation. I prepared a little ceremony. Teka lang. Ano ba yun? Ano ba yun? Hindi, mag-download na lang ako bago. Kasi may ano pa kayo. May mga humabol pa. So, if you don't see your name, kindly email me. And I will verify kung nandito ka nga sa room during the session. Kapag wala, syempre, hindi ko i-issuehan ng certificate. So, doon sa mga nadi-disconnect, we do have a recording naman to verify na nandito ka for most part. Okay? Download ko. Sige, para ganahan kayo. Narinig ba? Naka-share o, di ba? Allow me to share. Rinig na yung audio, no? Tama ba? Yes po. Ito tayo. Yeah. So, ito. Ang mga included dito, ang huli kong update was 7 p.m. I think. So, yung huling dalawa na nag-register, wala sila rito. So, if you see your name, ito. I-fit to page ko lang. Ayan. So, ito yung ginawa kong certificate. Ito yung template lang naman siya. So, I'd like to call on the following graduates of my webinar. Okay. So, isang beses ko lang babasahin yung content tapos names na lang babasahin ko. Certificate of Achievement. This certificate is presented to name for attending my webinar, Wealth Accumulation through Mutual Funds, held by my team, of course headed by me, Sanitan, on this 12th day of September 2022. From 8 p.m. so 2-hour webinar siya. And then here's our team logo and my credentials. So, ayan. Nandito ba siya? Si Alisa. Search natin. So, Alisa Aronze. And Angel Joy Sunga. And by the way, One Piece fan ako, so natutuwa ako sa mga D ang middle name. So, yeah. Angelo, yan. Medina, yan. Very, very participative this tonight. Precious Jade Castillo. Jesra Labrica. Romeo Magtangan Jr. Michelangelo Caberios. Maria Hazel Zorilla. May Antonido. Ito yung may group ata kanina. Hopefully nakauwi naman kayo maayos. Gira May Isip. Jaira. Sorry. Mylene DC. Joanna Marie Calay. Danzel Ross and Frias. Jerome Castillo. Devin ba to? Can you unmute? How do you pronounce your name? Devin ba? I think wala na siya dito.
Divine po,
Anyway.
sir.
Ha? Divine ba yan? Di ba
Yes
dapat
po,
D? Anyway. Sige. Divine Jaira Par. Lian Troyo. Ryan Guevara. Yan. Aaron Reginaldo. John Mark L. Horde. Josimar Rose. Michelle Silvestre. Riza May. Si Aling Maliit. So, Masalon. Michelle Ann Eso. Hilary Bless Cañete. Nixie Jem Rivera, sorry. Shane Marie Nicol. Angelica Cruz. Nico John Ilagan. Nicole Desiree Hernandez. Hani Bernardo. Ronaline Fojas. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly. Micaela Romualdo. Noriel Usi. Danica Canales. Ann Cristel Velasco. Jackie May Sadang. Abel D. Magtangog. Nico F. Tuazon. Erica Aquino. Ryan Bert Yamongan. So, Patrick J. De Los Reyes. Janel Seno. Leslie May Doctor. Ganda na surname mo. Leah Joy Solis. Kimberly Claros. Sana? Ayan. Last page pala yan. So, siya yung unang-una nag-register. Okay, so, before we end, guys, I just want to thank you for coming in sa webinar. Hopefully, I've imparted some knowledge at na-address ko naman yung learning expectations niyo. So, ayan, request ko lang before we end the call, can we, sakto 10 p.m. na, can we just do a photo ops for my own purpose lang din? Mag-video on kayo. Picture lang, picture.
Tier 2.
Video on, picture na lang. Video on po tayo. Ayan, more than half na yung naka-video on. Maraming salamat. Sige, basta email mo ako, Trixie. Okay, so lahat naman yan. Yan ang lahat ng mga video on. So, sige. Okay, I'll take a screenshot. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Uy, smile na. Teka, isa ba? May iba hindi nakatingin eh. Isa ba? 1, 2, 3, smile. Yan. So, thank you everyone and good night. I will send the e-certificate individually para walang plagiarism na mangyayari. Tapos, for those who are late registrants pero nandito naman, email nyo ako para hingin yung certificate niyo. Okay? And, yun. Thank you. You may now unmute kung meron kayong last words.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Sure. You're welcome.
Thank you po.